Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Good evening, everyone. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Joe. I am Bob, and tonight's race, the regular season finale at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Joe, under the lights, hopefully with an asterisk there, potentially, here at Vegas. Mile-and-a-half D-shaped oval is going to be a lot of fun. A few things to look out for tonight is, first of all, what line are these drivers going to take through the corners? You can run pretty much anywhere here at this racetrack, so it all kind of depends on where the car feels. Do you want to run the top? Do you want to run the bottom? Do you want to run somewhere in the between? You can, but it also depends on how much you're willing to spare lap time versus tire savings just to kind of see what else is going on out there.
It's going to be a real fun race out here. I like the high bank track. It's going to be really excited to see where these guys end up sitting.
That is for sure. Right now, Anthony DeBarro, fastest driver out on the racetrack. There he is in that number 27 machine. We see him coming out, getting on to the track for his second run. Danny White currently running in third. Matt Schlosser practicing getting down onto pit road. And it looks like he is able to get it woed up in time. Danny White also practicing to get down onto pit road. A little bit of smoke there for a few drivers. There's Chris Cabot just behind him. In the Dizzy Wrench number 25 machine, Philip Scott goes fourth fastest. He's going to back things down, try to get himself a little bit faster of a time for the moment. Here is the 77 of John Cannizzaro Jr. out on track. Driver for Crazy Horse Racing. Another new look for that 77. Johnny Williams saying in the chat, good luck all. Hello to the booth. Hey, Johnny, hope you're doing well. Newcomer here to the league is the number 71 of Graham Connolly. Currently sitting P9 on the board. And let's jump on board with this number 71 as we take a look at this car. And I think a lot of times these drivers are going to have an issue tonight. And of course, 71 heads down pit road, so we're not even going to take you on a lap around the track. You know, of course, with the lights or lack thereof here for the time being, a lot of all black race cars out there. Yeah, you have the 77 of John Cannizzaro Jr. here in the mostly black machine. Tyler Irving saying, yes, there is some color on that 77. There's Danny White in the also mostly black number 44. Chris Cabot in the black and white 25. Can't miss Jonathan Gaston there in the 72. Ace House again in the mostly black number 47. Graham Connolly in the mostly black 71. Shall I continue?
Listen, it's all... When we get some lights on.
Cannizzaro Sr. in the mostly black number 55. Jason Schue in the black Dale Earnhardt machine.
That one's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
They're just giving us a challenge. We have to figure out from a front who's who.
And in the dark, you know, it doesn't really matter, right?
Right. Listen, they do host the Electric Daisy Carnival here, so, you know, maybe they'll turn some neon lights on.
You know what? I would love to see, like, it would almost give the, like, the Forza Horizon vibes.
Imagine if they did, like, while the race is happening, they have the EDM, like, the neon lights, like, what is it, like, Monster Mini Golf and stuff, where, like, the neon lights are playing, or the new one is, neon softball, or whatever it is, like, blacklight softball.
That would be incredible. I would pay very good money to see something like that.
Right? Just paint up all the cars with, like, the neon reflective paint.
Incredible. Yes, please.
I'm onto something. NASCAR. Listen to me.
We know how to bring in Gen Z to these races.
Yeah, it's mostly drugs and neon.
I mean, that sounds fair. So just like that, the excuse me, the field has gone quiet, and we'll be getting ourselves ready to jump out on to the racetrack here. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race. On the pole is the number 27 of Anthony DeBarro, Matt Schlosser on his outside. Row number 2, we have John Cannizzaro Jr. and Philip Scott. Row 3, Danny White and Chris Gabot. Jonathan Gaston and Ace House make up row number 4. Graham Connolly and Adam Stewart, row number 5. Row number 6, we have John Cannizzaro Sr. and Jason Schue. Jacob Bettis will round, and Garrett Gleason will round out the 14-car field for tonight. As you see, Joe and I are technically on the starting lineup, but will not be racing here this evening, fortunately for the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's for the detriment of everybody else that I'm not here.
So with the starting lineup streaming across the top of your screen right now. 101 laps out there on the track. It's going to be some good fun. Just waiting on a handful more drivers to get out on to the racetrack. As we should be getting ourselves ready to roll here in just a moment. Great looking field out on the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely.
We will certainly see if these lights do actually want to come on.
We can hope for the best.
Love that that Mark Martin scheme that Jacob Bettis is driving right now. Though he's the number 24 car, it's got the number 6 on the door. That is prime Mark Martin paint scheme right there. So the field getting their parade laps done and on underway. ...101 laps here tonight. And if they were to break this thing up into thirds, we'd likely see about 30 to 35 laps for a pit window, give or take.
Assuming all goes well.
Yes. And usually that's a pretty good assumption there.
Yeah.
Field getting ready to come off of turn number 4. Field in the command of the 27 of Anthony DeBarro. Into the restart zone they go. Green flag in the air. We're racing here at Vegas. Great start there for DeBarro. He gets the best of Schlosser. In comes John Cannizzaro Jr. to the inside, and he's got Danny White just behind him. Schlosser is going to tuck in right behind the 77. And he's getting some pressure there from the 44 of Danny White. Big slide there out of Philip Scott. No damage, just a little light wall tap. But DeBarro leads lap 1. He's opening up about a 3/10 second lead over John Cannizzaro Jr. Everyone else pretty much single file for the most part. Cannizzaro Sr. to the inside of Connolly as they're side by side.
Interesting. We hop pretty much single file right out of the gate.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks too that, you know, it makes a lot more sense to be single file. You can run side by side pretty much everywhere. It's just a matter of, do we really need to or want to? Here's Schlosser makes a move on Canzaro Jr. Canzaro starting to fall back into the clutches of the 44 of Danny White. But look at those drivers really hugging that white line. And you'll see it here if they go all the way down to the bottom. White going to run the top here, or the middle, I should say. When they go down to the bottom, you're going to see them almost use the apron as a help to turn. As we'll jump on with Canzaro. You see how he's straddling that white line almost on the bottom. That difference between the banking and the flat of the racetrack, that's actually helping him make a better angle through the corner. And it's going to help him stick to the bottom and save his tires ever so slightly.
I was going to ask, is there I usually figure the inside is the or bottom, whatever, is the one that wears your tires out a little quicker than the top side.
So there's a bit of a almost trade-off, if you will, with that. The bottom is usually the fastest way around, and you're actually using a little less tire because it's the shorter way around the track. The top side, you're carrying a lot more momentum, so the more speed, the more pressure is going on the tire. It's all about G-forces and lateral force and stuff that my tiny lizard brain just can't comprehend. But typically, the inside line is actually a little bit better on your tires.
Huh.
And there, I think we see the 27 to DeBarro. He's fallen back about a second and a half. I think he kind of saw, all right, I led my laps. I had my piece. I'm going to fall back now, save some tires, let these guys go ahead and burn things off, and I know I'll be there at the end.
Yeah, I feel like that's been his strategy for a few races now.
Yeah, I really think it has been, and especially, too, when it comes to, you know, championship points racing and everything like that. DeBarro missed a couple of races to start the season, so he was really behind the 8 ball. But after sweeping 2 weeks ago's race at Atlanta and iRacing Super Speedway, he's really clawed his way back up towards the points, and he's just sitting there saying, all right, I got my lap lead, I got my bonus points there. Now I guess I just got to, play it safe, and if I don't wreck, I'll be okay.
Yeah, which usually is why he likes to stay towards the top.
Yes, absolutely. And I right now I'm taking a look to see the point standings here. For TNR. Right now, Canzaro is the leader. He's got a 110-point lead over Chris Gabot. Philip Scott 1 point behind Gabot currently. And DeBarro currently sitting P4, 267 points behind the leaders. And this is all after iRacing Super Speedway from 2 weeks ago. Right now, Danny White is the leader over Matt Schlosser. Canzaro all over the back bumper of Schlosser as well. And there's DeBarro just kind of creeping ever so slightly in the back there, just kind of saying, all right, boys, I'm watching you. And again, right now it's, in sim, things are starting to get a little darker. Lights, for whatever reason, I guess Las Vegas forgot to pay their electric bill tonight.
Was that an F1 thing?
Say that again?
Was that an F1 fiasco all over?
Right? I know a couple of seasons ago we had this issue in Phoenix where we ran the race, the lights did not come on, and we had to actually end the race under darkness, and they kept racing until you just could not see anymore.
Yeah, you hope for the best.
It's like, is it walls in another car? I don't know.
I mean, the walls in Vegas is at least a nice, very bright yellow, so.
That is true. They're slightly easier to see than maybe a black painted wall like Bristol.
Yeah. At least you got that going for you.
Yeah. But I will say it is awesome seeing the light reflect off of the race cars coming out of turn 2 layer like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the first set of pits, the lights decide to kick on.
Yeah, that would certainly be ideal. Although with all the green race lights you see around the track, that might actually help them just kind of show, okay, this is where the corner is. Oh, I know where I am. I'm fine.
Right.
So currently, John Cannizzaro Jr. is the leader. Taking a look back here at P2, Danny White, Matt Schlosser putting some pressure on him. A little bit further back, we've got a battle between Jason Schue and Jacob Bettis. A couple of real life paint schemes we'd see racing together. Scott Stewart in the chat cheering on Adam. There is Adam currently running P9, having himself a good day. Adam right now running running with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder there after 2 weeks ago, his race at iRacing Super Speedway finishing P2 and really fighting for the win, coming down to the last 2,000 feet. Everyone finishing either upside down, backwards, sideways, and all matters of everything there.
Yeah, I forgot to buy my lottery ticket. I missed my window.
Ah. All right, now we got a battle for second. Schlosser and DeBarro. Oh, little contact there. Looked like Schlosser got sideways. DeBarro might have caught the wall. Cats and dogs living together. It's mass hysteria. 4 a.m. watching the chat saying, do race cars have headlights? These do not.
Just stickers that look like headlights.
These are stickers. Right now, though, these guys are... It's almost like they're racing the sun more than they're racing 100 laps. And I wonder if that actually plays into any... plays into anything here.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Because if that's the case, things could get a little interesting here. Tyler Evers saying the headlights are just very much implied. ...22 laps into this race. John Cannizzaro Jr. with the lead by about half a second over Anthony DeBarro and Matt Schlosser. Right now, closest battle on the racetrack is Jacob Bettis and Jason Schue. Bettis has gotten around Schue. These two really not willing to let up, but right now, Danny White side by side with Chris Cabot. Sideways, a little bit of smoke there from the 25. I don't know if he just kind of snapped loose or what, but that was interesting.
Yeah, there's been a couple instances where I'm not quite sure what's been going on.
It almost looked to me like there's like a little patch of glare that as they come through the corner here, you can see the patch of glare right there. And I wonder if that part of the track is just a little extra heated, so they kind of lose a tiny bit of grip going through that, that light zone, for lack of a better phrase. As Cabot into the wall.
Hard in the wall. Oof.
And that's one of those... Go ahead. Yeah, and that's one of those things where, you're up there, the centrifugal force is keeping you up in the wall. And like you said, you just get glued to the wall, and the only way to get yourself off is to slow down. Because the last thing you need to do is jerk it to the left, and next thing you know, you're taking out 3 guys.
Yeah, so, what is it? Vegas has a 20-degree bank, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That's a high bank.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could really see how much speed these drivers carry through the corner. You see there, Cabot, 186 miles an hour as he dives off into the corner. Meanwhile, out front, DeBarro has caught Cannizzaro. And Joe, how many times have we seen this exact battle?
How many races has there been this season?
This is number 14.
That many.
That is definitely what it feels like. It's here comes DeBarro taking a peek to the inside of Cannizzaro. They're side by side down the Nellis backstretch. DeBarro goes on through. We'll ride on board here with the camera, or the driver cam of Matt Schlosser. Look at that, he's turning right to turn into the corner.
Yes.
And how sideways he is coming out of the corner.
The physics in racing is ridiculous. When everyone's like, oh, you just turn, left. It's like, no, that steering wheel gets played a lot more than you think it does.
Yeah. And even with how much you move the wheel around, because if you see here, look how, how he's really fighting the wheel left and right and kind of sawing on it through the corner. You're actually putting in slightly more tire heat into the front of your tire, moving your wheel around like that. Because not only is the wheel, spinning like a wheel is, tending to do, but when you're turning the wheel back and forth, the wheel's also pivoting, as if you'd be turning the wheel in your street car. So it's spinning and rubbing left and right, which is putting more friction and more heat into the tire, So they really talk about just trying to smoothen out your inputs, and that's what they mean, and that is going to save your tires a lot more. Because you can see the orange stripe on the wheel of Cannizzaro here. And even down the straightaway, he's not, not really holding the wheel steady and straight through. As, the 27 gets real loose there into 3.
Yeah, let's see if Cannizzaro could capitalize on it.
Yeah, he's all over the back bumper of DeBarro.
Mm-hmm. But DeBarro, well documented, fantastic defensive player.
Very. He's one of the hardest drivers to pass when he's not sitting there saying, all right, go for it. You guys have fun. On the back bumper here of DeBarro. And Danny White, our first taker to head down pit road. So here is White making his first stop of the night, right around lap 34. Cannizzaro heads in, so does Schlosser. Schlosser with a head of steam, but it looks like he's able to get it woed down. Chris Cabot heads in as well, which should mean that DeBarro will be coming down soon. As we see the field there on pit road. Is DeBarro coming? Yes, he is. Oh, big slide from DeBarro.
Decided to drift in.
He's just showing off for the cameras. Philip Scott, Ace House, Jonathan Gaston, Adam Stewart, Jacob Bettis, Jason Schue, Cannizzaro Sr. all making their way down pit road. That, in theory, should leave the lead back now over to the 44 or the 04 of Schlosser. But him and Cannizzaro fighting hard here. The rest of the field down and away, exiting pit road now. DeBarro had the lead. Now he's back to third and lost it by about a second and a half and growing.
I don't think I'll ever understand pitting.
I think at that point, when you see everyone coming down at basically the same time, that just means they're all out of gas. Not a whole lot of strategy there. They're just saying, all right, we're out. Let's go. So if we're sitting there saying lap 35, that would mean everyone would come back down at lap 70, which would then give them about a roughly 30-lap run to the finish. Could see some guys come down and pit around lap 65, but that would only be a lap to lap 100, so like 65, 70, I think we'll see our last round of pit stops. Just if the maths.
Again, assuming there's no cautions get thrown.
That's also true. Gap has now grown to about a second between Schlosser and Cannizzaro. Anthony DeBarro back about a second from the 77. Then we're going to have to wait another 2.2 seconds to Philip Scott and Danny White. Oh, that's a camera. Okay, this camera angle definitely makes up for it.
That's solid.
And it's also wild to see how sideways these cars are driving through the corner and how fast they are.
But boy, does it sound great.
It really does. Cameras are brought to you by our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets. I love the audio filter on this set of cameras called Crank It Up. Really pulls out the audio in this. So Schlosser about a 1 second lead, still over Cannizzaro. As always, tonight's race is brought to you by our friends at Track Camps for Gourmets. Check them out online, trackcams22.com. Link in the description below if you want to pick up your own camera packs. Help us out. We'll help you out if you buy through that link. Would be very much appreciated. Just coming up to halfway. Closest battle on the track right here is between Jonathan Gaston and Ace House. House started 8th, currently running 7th. And the opposite true for Gaston, started 7th, running 8th. You know, we've been talking all night about the lighting here at the track in that situation. I do wonder if any of that is playing a factor into these drivers with how hard they're going to push, knowing, all right, I can still see, but for how long? Because right here, it looks like it's fine. It's a little dark, but nothing... You know, nothing that says you're never going to be able to see anything.
Right.
Gap shrinking ever so slightly from Schlosser to Cannizzaro. DeBarro also starting to catch up ever so slightly. That time through, DeBarro just slightly faster. Now DeBarro much faster than both drivers by about 0.2. And right there you see 0.2 of a second. That may not really feel like a whole lot to a lot of people. 0.2 is, you know, a quarter of a second. But in racing, that quarter of a second actually could be a pretty big deciding factor.
Yeah.
Tyler Avery in the chat saying, does this mean we're going to start a new segment on the podcast called TNR After Dark?
I'm here for it.
You know what? I'm all in. Although I feel like they might have to subscribe on a different platform to watch that content.
We'll just make another channel, Table Talk Trio After Dark.
That's when we played glow-in-the-dark board games.
yes, that's it.
It's all glow-in-the-dark. We have glow-in-the-dark dice. Why not? What else were you thinking about, you weirdos?
I think I have several sets of glow-in-the-dark dice. I don't even need to buy anything. I'm here.
Just crossing the halfway point in this one, Matt Schlosser leads over John Cannizzaro Jr. and Anthony DeBarro. Oh, Schlosser catches the wall ever so slightly. That's going to let Cannizzaro catch up.
Yeah, speaking of which, DeBarro has made up almost about a second.
Wow. I mean, that just goes to show, too, how much quicker the pace has been ramping up, because they see the sun setting. They know what's at stake. We're halfway through the race. And DeBarro, I know he knows, all right, it's go time now.
Yeah, race halfway over.
Now he's all in the back over of Schlosser. Cannizzaro to the top side. To back out ever so slightly. Now he's going to take a peek down low side by side with the lap car in front of him. Cannizzaro to the lead for now. Here comes Schlosser to the outside. DeBarro putting pressure on. Lap car is Cannizzaro Sr.
Which can end up playing a factor here.
Absolutely, as they're side by side.
Cannizzaro, hey, real quick, just take the high line.
Big loose moment there for the 77. That's going to allow DeBarro around him. Now they're side by side for second. Schlosser in the crosshairs. DeBarro almost has some contact with the 77. Now DeBarro's going to take a peek to the inside of Schlosser. Cannizzaro backs off. New leader Anthony DeBarro. It's now Cannizzaro Sr. Oh!
He was trying to get out of the way. He almost got two out of the way.
Yeah, evasive maneuvers there. It looked like, I think if I'm DeBarro, I was assuming the 55 was going to go down on the apron. But then when he just kind of didn't at the last second, that almost threw the 27 off. Now here comes Junior around the 04.
Now this is worst case for Cannizzaro and Schlosser, as DeBarro now has no one in front of him. We know they caught up to him. DeBarro was a 1.7 seconds behind, 1.8 seconds behind. Now they have to really pick up the pace to keep up.
Yeah, now they're all just under a blanket at the moment, with the sun quite literally setting on this race. And you can hear how gingerly Schlosser had to get on the gas in the middle of the corner. Because any more gas are going to get sideways and snap loose. Cannizzaro there looks like he grabbed the apron a little bit through the dog leg there and almost sent him sideways. That's going to let Schlosser catch back up.
Yeah, I saw that little wiggle.
We could very well be getting closer to green flag pit stops as well. I think, though, at this point, if a caution were to come out, that will drastically shorten this race. Because think, right now they're all running about 31-second laps. That'll turn into about a minute. And then with just the way the sun's been setting, could be interesting here.
I think
Now we've
tomorrow's
got
starting to take the high line.
Let's see what he's doing here. Yeah, he's kind of running much higher than the rest of the field as Cannizzaro sees that, and he's going to try it too.
Nope.
Oh, Cannizzaro catches the wall. That's going to let Schlosser catch up. Schlosser drives it into turn one. To the inside, they're side by side.
I wonder if at this point it's tires.
I think at this point in the race, these drivers are not happy with their tires at all.
I did notice that this track is not exactly the smoothest. There's a lot of bumps.
Yeah, a lot of bumps. It's worn down by the Vegas desert sand. You know, there's really not a whole lot of grip out there. And because they're really rubbing tires a lot more than you would at a more freshly paved track.
Yeah, I'm just noticing the cars are bumping up and down a lot more in these turns.
And that could also play into why we saw Cannizzaro, the way he's kind of sawing on the wheel a bit, even during the straightaways. That's more the bumps than anything.
Yeah. As, like I said, Tabaro is starting to drive away with it.
Great battle here. Another great battle going on a little bit further back for fifth between Ace House, Chris Cabot, and Danny White. We'll show you this battle right now. House taking a peek to the inside of Cabot. Couldn't quite do it. Cabot earlier this season swept the doubleheader at Daytona.
Yeah, White started off strong here and then kind of just fell back.
Yeah, and I'm a little confused as to how that had happened. Just because he was having a really strong race in the beginning. I don't know if he just overcooked the tires in the first stint and just kind of fell back. Or what exactly had happened.
I don't want to jinx it early, but looks like House got his car exercised.
Yeah, for now.
I'd like to hope for the best.
Yeah. Let the record show that Joe brought up the broadcaster's curse and not me. Just putting that one out there into the world.
I said what I said.
That battle between House and Cabot rages on. House does get around Cabot. He's got Danny White and Jonathan Gaston behind him. Out of turn 4. Schlosser is catching Cannizzaro. As you see that time through, Schlosser and Cannizzaro are almost identical. And the 77 doing a little bit of fuel saving as he clutches it into one. Has Danny White first to head down pit road.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were aiming 65. I was gonna, if I was these racers, I would try to be aimed for 70, 71. But whoa.
Big slide there. Somehow everyone's able to make it down onto pit road safely, but the 4 is going to have to come into pit road. Oh. as everyone makes it safely through. And that was just a matter of Cannizzaro to the inside, was sideways, had to save it.
Yeah.
Not indicative at all of something that Adam Stewart could have, should have, would have done. He just came in a lot more sideways to the inside. Cannizzaro and Schlosser both down and away.
As soon as you said that he was, he shifted for fuel saving, I don't think he's got another lap in him.
And this is going to be interesting. We're starting lap 70. Everyone has done about 33 to 34 laps, give or take. They should be good to go the rest of the way, in theory.
Yeah.
Ace House brings his way down pit road. Looking pretty good so far. Here comes Jacob Bettis. Is Bettis going to pit here? No, so he's going to try to lead the lap. Will he at the line? No, he doesn't.
Huh. Question is, does he have another lap in him?
Let's see here. Got about 14 seconds back to Cannizzaro as Bettis brings his way down pit road. And now Schlosser, Cannizzaro. This is the fight for the lead once everyone cycles. And just there, Cannizzaro got a little tripped up behind the 3 of Schue. That opened the lead up now to about a second between he and Schlosser. So 27 laps to go.
Now, to me, this seems like the second stint all over again. Schlosser and Cannizzaro get out quick. DeBarro comes out a lap later, about 2 seconds down, makes up the 2 seconds, pulls about a 1.5 seconds lead before you need to pit again. Are they going to be able to switch strategies enough to avoid that on the last 30-ish laps?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the huge key because, Joe, I think you're exactly right. I think we're going to see this stint play out very similarly to the last time because it already has. Schlosser about a second over Cannizzaro, another second back to DeBarro. But then let's take a look here at the lap times this time through. That time through, Schlosser fastest overall, 30.1. Coming back around this time, I'm interested to see how that's going to work out as Schlosser gets to come out of turn number 4 as we watch Cannizzaro Jr. right here. This is the battle for second now. 30.2, just about even for Cannizzaro. And about a tenth slower is DeBarro. But again, right now, this is early on in the stint. Tires are still starting to warm up and, be at their grippiest. So
I feel like DeBarro's specialty is... Oh, I think Cannizzaro blinked and hasn't come back in yet.
Yeah, so big loss there for Cannizzaro.
As he's back. I was going to say, if he lost internet, that would be...
mightily unfortunate.
Yeah, it's been really rough.
Especially with 25 to go.
Yeah. I was saying DeBarro, kind of his specialty is late stint driving. He's really good at keeping those tires fresh longer.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the key. Especially with how worn this racing surface is and how much it actually affects the tires here. So with 23 laps remaining, Matt Schlosser out front by about a second over Cannizzaro. Philip Scott running in fourth with Chris Cabot in fifth. Here's Danny White trying to hold off Jonathan Gaston. This is the closest fight on the racetrack right now between Gaston and White. Two very talented, very clean drivers between White and Gaston. We were looking a little bit earlier at the weather. Track temp just about the same. 78 degrees in the air, 80 degrees on track. So we got plenty of grip out there for these cars. Cannizzaro's pulled in within a second of Schlosser, but right now we're side by side. This for the sixth position. Gaston takes a peek down low. Danny White's going to run all the way up at the extreme high line. Gaston gets the position. Meanwhile, out front, Schlosser's lead shrinks now to only 0.8. Joe, I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tabaro really hasn't started pushing yet. Or at least, no. As I say that, I see the time start dropping, so never mind.
I think the push has begun now with 19 laps to go. That time through. Oh, yeah, Tabaro. Almost 0.3 faster than both Schlosser and Cannizzaro. Cue the Jaws theme, because here comes Tabaro.
I was going to say, it's been, what, 2 laps? And he's made up 0.4 of a second?
That time through, he was about 1/10 of a second faster than the 77. If the math starts to math, Tabaro should be there in about 4 laps. That time through, about even.
You can really see the bumps on the track with the hood cam on.
Yeah.
Every time you feel that bump, your wheel is trying to fight you.
That is for sure. However, let's take a look out front as Schlosser has been caught by the 77. Tyler Avery saying it looks like the 04 is being chased by a ghost. We've got ourselves one heck of a battle now. Cannizzaro looks to the inside. Schlosser leads it with 15 laps to go. Battle for first. Cannizzaro to the inside. They both get sideways. Somehow they keep it off.
Which is exactly what DeBarro wants. Yes, good. Keep battling. Keep going side by side. Keep wearing out a little harder. Keep slowing down so I can just pass you.
Big slide there from the 77. That's going to let the 27 catch him. Big drag through the corner. Oh, they touch. Cannizzaro, all sorts of sideways.
Yeah, which doesn't bode well with 12 laps left that he's losing a grip like that.
Certainly not. They should be fine on fuel. They all pitted back on laps 68 and 69. Here comes DeBarro to the inside of Schlosser. DeBarro times it perfectly. Schlosser leads the lap, but here comes DeBarro. Schlosser in the wall, that's going to slow him down. Now he's fallen in the clutches of Cannizzaro. One heck of a fight we've got on our hands here. DeBarro leads into 3. The 04 scrapes the wall a little bit. Here comes Cannizzaro taking a peek to the top side with 10 laps remaining here at Vegas. Four-tenths of a second lead, now 5 over Schlosser's DeBarro. Here comes Cannizzaro to the outside. Try to do a crossover move. Cannizzaro on the apron, that's not out of bounds. You could do it here. Gap is just over a tenth of a second between Schlosser and Cannizzaro. Wild Child out of 2. He's going to follow right in the tire tracks of the 04.
Interesting, they're actually catching up on DeBarro.
Which I am honestly surprised in that, too.
Yeah. I mean, going for what we expected from the second stint, that was not the case.
As Cannizzaro drives it in deep into 3. Cannizzaro runs the extreme high side.
I gotta imagine that's for tires.
Tires were at the very least some momentum just to try something new.
He's dropping time though.
Now we're at 6 to go. Gap expands to half a second.
I don't really see him diving from the top to the bottom like you would expect. That time he did take the inside. I think it was just for tire management.
Yeah, I think he's just trying something new, something different, trying to see what's going to work. Because this is the time of the race where you're like, all right, let's just throw what we have at the wall and, checkers or wreckers, they say. Here comes Cannizzaro to the inside. 4 to go at the line. A little bit further back, Ace House putting the pressure onto the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. This is for 6th. Three to go. Cannizzaro still working the bumper of the 04. Still some great battles here. 2 to go, and this is what DeBarro wants to see. He wants to see these two fight it out. I'm just amazed the sun hasn't gone down any further.
Right.
Cannizzaro is going to try it again. Gets onto the apron. Helps him get the turn, but not enough drive off. White flag in the air for Anthony DeBarro. .5 miles remain between DeBarro and victory here in the regular season finale. Playoffs starting next week. And next week is going to be a doozy, but we'll talk about that later. Coming out of turn number 4, checkered flag in the air. Anthony DeBarro is going to win at Las Vegas. Schlosser comes home P2. John Cannizzaro Jr. in 3rd. Philip Scott in 4th. The fight for 5th is won by Chris Gabot and Jonathan Gaston. Ace House comes home in 7th. Danny White will come home 8th, and the final car on the lead lap for tonight. Wow, what a finish. What a race.
It was fantastic. And we broke the curse. Well, specifically, Ace House broke the curse.
Yes, Ace House broke his own curse, and we are here for it.
I think that deserves its own congratulations.
As Adam Stewart gives the 27 a bit of a good luck bump, or good job bump, rather. So DeBarro getting ready to burn it down. We'll start getting some of our interviews set up and ready to go for you. Our post-race interviews. As DeBarro burns it down on the front stretch. And while DeBarro does that, Joe, I believe you've caught up with our 3rd place finisher, driver of the number 77 machine, John Cannizzaro Jr.
Hey, John. Congratulations on the podium finish. How do you think the race went for you tonight?
Got a little, chip on my shoulder. I think had Matt cooperate a little bit better and not raced me as hard and, kind of making us race heads up for no reason. I think it could have been down to just me and him instead of letting DeBarro get up to us. But other than that, it was a great race. It was pitch black out. I chose a great time to run an all black car. Otherwise, just kind of one of those, another race like Atlanta and Chicagoland. You're trying to fend off guys that are faster, or you're faster than, and you're trying to save gas at the same time. it's a weird dynamic. I don't particularly like it. I'm more of a heads up racing guy, but I'll take what I can get. I think it was a good race today.
Absolutely. Was your strategy kind of how it played out tonight, or did you have to make some adjustments on the fly uh, because of Slosher and Debarro?
I think it played out good. The first run I had, well, I don't know if DeBarra was trying to push himself or not, but I felt I had the better long run car, and the second run was going great, and then just um, I I thought that if Matt had maybe not raced me so hard and running each other to the apron and into the corners wide open and everything, but it's racing. It is how it is. Can't fault him for it. I'm sure I'd probably be doing the same thing if the shoe was on the other foot. So, um, I kind of think it could have went another way, but still hats off to Bar for catching us and getting by us. And I couldn't pass Matt after that to save my life. Just arrow washing the car off the corner. I was having a horrible time.
Well, still a great finish. P3 end of the season. We got playoffs next week. How you feeling about the playoffs?
Pretty sure I won the regular season points championship. I think. I don't know. Could be saying that and lying it through my teeth. But um, I'm hoping it goes good. I haven't, won a championship in anything official or league in a while, so I'd like to do that again. And doing it over Debarra would definitely make me feel a bit happier, considering I used to have to follow him around the racetrack all the time as if I was some little putt cruiser. So this is more of a taking it to the next step, I'll say.
Absolutely. I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
I gotta, obviously shout you guys out for the broadcast, and you guys do a good job all the time having fun, make sure everybody gets their screen time and their credits. So, always appreciate you guys. Garrett, Mike, all those guys that run TNR. Obviously, Senior. He actually had a race today. He didn't hit anything in the rental car. I kind of wish he would do that in some of our special looking cars, but I gotta thank Tyler. He paints all my cars for me in this series, and this should be the playoff car for the rest of the year, unless Bob would like to come DM me with any more sponsorship races. But it should be our playoff car. It does have a nickname, and it's kind of like Batman putting on his mask. It's an alter ego of mine that's probably gonna end up getting me wrecked someday.
Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll be talking to you next week.
See ya.
All right, that's John Cannizzaro Jr., our not only a third place finisher, but our regular season champion here tonight at Las Vegas. I'm now joined by our second place finisher, driver of the number 04 machine, Matt Schlosser. And, Matt, congrats on the second place finish. Had a great fight all race long between you, Cannizzaro, and Debarro. Just wound up coming up a little bit short there at the end.
Yeah, it was a really fun battle with those two. Just came up a little bit short. Anthony obviously had us covered today, so congrats to him.
And we were talking a little bit about this during the broadcast, but it felt like both in the second and third stint, you and John pitted at almost the exact same time. Both came off the pit road at the exact same time. And either you would get out to about a second lead or he would, and then Debarra would be about two back, and then all of a sudden he would catch you. What do you think that he was doing a little bit differently that, maybe you and John didn't really do like in the midway point of each stint there?
Yeah, I think speaking for myself, was burning up my tires a little bit too quickly. In the second stint, I learned that. I was like, all right, I am pushing a little too hard at the beginning. And letting these guys come back to me. And then for the third stint, I was like, well, I'm going to kind of do what I've been doing and try to save a little bit, but I was kind of betting on maybe Clean Air being my friend if I could get out front and just kind of try to save while holding about a 1 second lead and just defend those guys. I thought maybe I could do it. But Anthony really had speed there from the middle of the run on, just able to, I think he might have been saving a little bit at the beginning or something. I think John was too, because I feel like I was definitely the slowest of the three by the end of the run, and I would just try to run away and stay out there, but it didn't quite work. But yeah, just tire strategy saving was definitely a big thing, and just came up a little short.
Well, moving forward now to next weekend, going to be racing at Kern County. A bit of a short track there. What are your thoughts racing there with these cars?
That sounds awesome. I mean, I love short track racing. These cars obviously have a lot of power, so it'll be really challenging to try to keep the car under you. I've raced trucks and like mini stocks and things at Kern, but never something with this much power. So it'll be really interesting to see how that works out. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. And Matt, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs, so let's hear them.
Yeah, shout out to the admins for the league who put everything together. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast. Shout out again to Anthony and John and anyone else that was up there. You know, it was really good, clean racing and really fun. So I appreciate that. And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, Matt, congrats again on the second place finish, and looking forward to chatting with you next week.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
All right. That is Matt Schlosser, our second place finisher here tonight. And Joe, you're down in victory lane, and you're chatting with our winner of yet another race this season, Anthony DeBarro.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations. Huge win. How's it feel?
Oh, really good. I mean, I kind of felt like I managed my stuff. I aimed to get a little longer on that first run. I think the 1 lap tire difference each run kind of helped me out, and I also was a little more conservative than those guys on the fresh tires. So, and all in all, like I think the way I ran the race was perfect. I ran out. I mean, it was super tough to make up time because we were on the throttle so much. Like you barely lifted out of the throttle, so it was kind of like a modified plate race. I thought it was.
Yeah, I was gonna ask your strategy versus Canonzaro and Slosher kind of seemed to be kind of how you've been doing all season. You led a lap the first stint, kind of checked everything out, moved back, kind of took your time, and then worked your way up each stint. Was that according to plan or just a different strategy?
Kind of in these cars, you save the throttle. I'm sorry, you save the tires with the throttle and the steering. Really minimizing your steering input. And I kind of was just focusing on, I didn't want to go too hard, get up behind those guys, and then burn my stuff up. So I kind of just, I paced myself. I said, you know what, if he wants to get out 3 seconds, I knew the middle. It was weird, like the middle of the part of the run, I would really gain, and then once I got by them, we kind of equalized. It seemed like, so that was kind of strange to me, but uh, really, I thought he was out there so far that last run, and we were a little like a lap or two shorter run. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And then they got back. John got sideways. I was able to get around him. Like I think he got his tires hot, and then I was able to catch Matt off guard there, and I kind of pulled like a little bit of a slider line there to clear him because I didn't want to keep him on my outside because I knew he'd be able to pin me down.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say about 20 laps left in the race is where you started kind of moving up positions relatively rapidly, and up in the booth, we were shocked that you could make up that much time that quickly. Uh, that late in the race.
Yeah, I was watching I have my little lap timer thing on the my overlay, and I was roughly like on new tires like 2 to 3 tenths, like giving up a lap, and I just kind of was like, you know what, I don't want to like focus on keeping the heat down on my tires, and ultimately it paid off to keep it to keep the right front cool down, and I had something to be able to pass those guys because they short pitted and they were able to get by me. So it's all in all, it was fun. It was tough. I'm sweating. I'm sore. My neck's a little sore. So we'll we'll go. I think we have an off week. I'm pretty sure next week. I'm not too sure, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll start the playoffs, and we'll see if we can make a run here.
Absolutely. I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Yeah, thank you guys, and Garrett and Philip for doing the testing to check our fuel levels and stuff. It really makes these races exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations again. And hopefully we'll be talking to you either next week or the week after.
Hopefully, we got 3 in a row now. We'll keep the streak going. Thank you guys.
All right, that's Anthony DeBarro, our winner here tonight at Las Vegas. And Joe, what a fun race that we had there. A lot of different strategies, some tire wear, and overall just a pretty good time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fantastic with the TNR League. Always a great time, great season, and now we're going to be moving on to the playoffs.
Yeah, and let's take a look here at the final or the final results for tonight's race. Anthony DeBarro gets the win over Matt Schlosser and John Canizaro Jr. Philip Scott just misses out on the podium in 4th, with Chris Gabot in 5th. Jonathan Gaston comes home 6th, Ace House in 7th, Danny White in 8th, Jason Schue, the first car, 1 lap down in 9th, with Jacob Bettis in 10th. Adam Stewart comes home in 11th, with John Canizaro Sr. in 12th, Garrett Gleason in 13th, and Graham Connolly wrapping up this 14-car field for this evening. Like we mentioned, next week going to be racing at Kern County Speedway. A ton of fun, very similar to Richmond, but a track that I honestly prefer over Richmond every single time. So that is going to be one heck of a race. It's going to be a really good time. So make sure you check us out everywhere on YouTube and on Twitch here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network to catch that one next Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, right here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow night at 9:30 for the season finale of the Speed Tuesday Dash Series. And then, as always, like we mentioned, TNR next Monday evening. So for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
And this has been the Tabletop Trio broadcast of Total Nonstop Racing League here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Have a great night.